This was Saddam's palace. My guys are over there. We're just joking and smoking. And I kind of like look over. I'm like, okay. I see this metal plate there, and I'm curious. I'm like, what's that? Everybody's like, oh, let's take the stuff off of that. Fine, Sergeant. So they move it off. And they open it up. I'm like, there's stairs there. They're like, yeah. Sergeant Parkhurst, are you? Yeah. So let's go, guys. Let's go see where this goes. You know, we all got flashlights and stuff. It ends up being a bunch of cages down there. Carl Parkhurst grew up in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Your whole life you lived there?
Well,
until
I joined until I joined the Army. Yeah.
Yeah.
18 years and
were your parents anybody in the military in your family?
Well, my dad, he was in Vietnam. He did Marines. Then I had an uncle in Navy, another uncle that was Air Force.
What year do you remember? You know what years your dad was in the?
Let's see. Well, I know he was in Vietnam. He was just in for he did a few years, and as soon as his was over with, he got out.
Was he drafted or did he enlist?
No, he was drafted, as far as I know.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
did he ever talk about it?
Very little. I mean, his thing was with me, he's like, you got your demons, I got mine. Let's not let them meet in the middle. And that was his thing. He didn't like talking about it. He really didn't. He's very very skittish. I mean, you could just touch him and he'll just go off. You could tell he's got a lot of demons in him.
Yeah. So
he was always honestly just never around. Yeah, he just closed off, and him and my mom split, and I'd say about never saw him after 10 and until
after you were 10 years old.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And then I ended up seeing him later on in life, and I mean, now he's actually around this area. So I met him later on in life.
How old's your dad now?
He's 80 now.
You have a relationship with him now? Or?
A little bit. He's had like 4 strokes now.
Oh wow!
So he's actually he lives here in Lampasas. I got him to come down this way, and because he has nobody else. But he's actually in a nursing home now because he's got dementia, and so it was that kind of thing. I just basically told him, hey, you can't take care of yourself. I went in and checked on him. He just literally. It's like he had no running water. I mean, his house was just torn. Man. Yeah, it was torn apart. And I mean, I won't get into the graphic details, but it was really bad. And I mean, it's that kind of thing, if you did a health and welfare, I mean, the state would have, pulled him out of there. So I got him, put into a nursing home. He's got dementia, and he cannot take care of himself. So it was that kind of thing. I just told him, look, I can't physically take care of you, but you can't take care of yourself. So, I had him put in a nursing home. So now at least, he is taken care of, and, it's the best thing for him. And, at least he's okay on that.
So how old? Okay. So you grew up in Florida. Mm-hmm. How did you get in the military then?
That was kind of funny because when I was in high school, I was that one that always gave the guys that were in ROTC a hard time. I was like, oh, y'all stupid, and I'll never join the military, and forget that, always make fun of them. And I don't know, I got out of school, and then I just I saw a recruiting office and I walked in there. And
so no plans, just kind of, you just saw it. It was kind of spontaneous.
Yeah. I just walked in there, and I was a big boy. I mean, I really was, I was huge. I was over 300 pounds. I was like 330. I walk into the recruiting area. The Air Force looks at me like, "Have a nice day." Don't even say nothing to me. And the Army, I go walking in there, and I mean, my recruiter, I'll never forget his name, Staff Sergeant Rybeck. He looks at me. He's like, "Son," he's like, "you're a little too big to join the military." I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Sir, I know I'm kind of big." He's like, "Well," he says, "if you really want to do it, you're gonna have to lose some weight there, son." He's like, "But he's like, I can help you with that." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what can you do?" He's like, "Well," he's like, "First of all, let's talk about how you're eating." He says, "Second of all, if you really want to do it," he's like, "we can start, I'll work out with you and stuff." And he did, I felt like I was going to die. And it's like, "Son, we only ran around the building twice."
How often would you go there?
I went and I saw him like 3 days a week, but it was like,
wow.
I mean, it's like, "What do you mean we only ran around twice?" I'm like, he's like, "Son, we've only been running for like 5 minutes." I'm like, "I thought it's been an hour, I felt like the guy was killing me. He's like, "Son, you look like you're going to pass out." I'm like, "I thought I did, but he worked with me, and I think, but I was like 330 when I saw him. I mean, it started off.
And how old are you? 18?
Right, yeah, I was 18.
Oh, so you were young.
Oh yeah, I was
Okay.
18, and I mean, like I said, I was 330. I was a big boy.
Yeah.
And so I dropped down from there. I went from 330. I go in, and it still wasn't, I wasn't small by the time I went in. I dropped down. I think I went from 330 down to about 250. And I mean,
and over how long?
It took me like, we worked out for like 6-7 months. I mean,
wow, that's a lot. In that time.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, he was a really great guy. He talked to my mom. My mom, took me to a Nutrisystem. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and back in the day, Nutrisystem, it was like, you went to the office, and they had to go in there and weigh in, and back then it was like they had the packets and stuff. So, my mom took me there. I was really, really like, I'm gonna do this. And funny thing about it was, I turn around and I get this job. I got a job building swimming pools, and that on its own, working out there, doing that, I mean, that was some good old manual labor there. And I mean, I busted my butt doing that. And so doing that, seeing my recruiter 3 days a week, I mean, I was, really busting my butt. So I get done with that. I actually join in. I was supposed to go in September of '88. And I turned around and I ended up getting in believe it or not, I was riding my bicycle, and because, for exercise, and I was going to Votech for electronics. So I was taking an electronics course, and the derailleur broke on my bike, and it shatters, and I go skidding down the road, and I ruptured my spleen. So I get put in the hospital. My recruiter comes and sees me. He's like, "Son," he's like, "I don't think you're going in now." So I'm like, "Okay, great," but because I'm supposed to, back in the day, they just immediately would take your spleen out, for something like that.
Yeah.
But I got lucky. I was the first one in my town. Talk about luck. They just had a meeting about it, and they were like, they say it's not a vital organ, but it's a needed organ.
Yeah.
So they talked to my mom and me about it, and they're like, "Hey, it's not needed, but or it's not a vital organ, but hey, we want to try this. We have to check your blood count, but instead of, taking it out, we'd like to monitor your blood count. You're going to be a pincushion for us, but as long as it doesn't go below this number, we want to keep it and see if it will, mend itself." And I'm like, "Okay, sure. As long as I'm not going to get it cut out of me. Yeah, I'll be a pincushion. Sure." So they do that, and I'm like, okay, great, So I'm a pincushion, I feel like Julius Caesar because I'm getting, freaking stabbed constantly, but I end up keeping it. And
how long were you in the hospital?
I was in the hospital for like 2 weeks, and so I mean they keep on monitoring it, and so I end up getting to keep it, and so I'm like, great, doesn't happen, but so I lost my contract because I couldn't end up shipping.
Yeah.
So, I was considered a dep loss, and, so I didn't get to go in. I was supposed to go in for telecommunications, and, that didn't happen. So I get done with that. I talked to my recruiter, I had to recover and stuff. So I turn around and I go into, I was working in construction. So I start doing construction work, recovering and, doing manual labor. It was a great job for me to get some money, build up some money.
Yeah.
And, I had to recover as far as being able to go in later. So my recruiter was still recruiting, and I'm like, okay, let me talk to him again. And I'm like, hey, I'd like to go back into the same thing. He's like, well, hey, son, that job comes around once a year, so you'll have to wait until that next September to go back in for it. And
you mean the communications thing?
Right, the telecommunications. Yeah. It's like it'd be like September of '89 before it comes around, kind of thing. He's like, we can get you in for it, but he says you're gonna have to wait around. I'm like, man, forget that. I'm like, man, I just want to get out of town. I want to go. He's like, well, there are other jobs that you qualify for. I'm like, well, see what they are. I'm like, okay, well, what is there? And he's like, well, there's, infantry. I'm like, no. I'm like, yeah, you've got me running around. I don't want to do that. Like, you've had me running around in this building. I don't want to sit there and do that for my job in the Army. He's like, well, you can be a cook. I'm like, no, I don't want to be a cook either. I don't want to peel potatoes. And he's like, well, you can be artillery. I'm like, no, that's okay. He's like, what about mechanics? I'm like, okay, well, all right, that sounds pretty cool. He's like, okay. He's like, you can be an artillery mechanic. I'm like, or a wheel mechanic. I'm like, oh, what's artillery mechanic? Well, it's a track vehicle. And he shows me the little film about it. And I'm like, you see this, track rolling down the road and everything, and it stops, and this big old cannon starts shooting rounds. I'm like, oh my God, that looks so cool. So I'm like, I'll do that right there. So I go in to do it, and so I go to MEPS, and then they disqualify me, and they're like, I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, you had a splenectomy. I'm like, no. And they're like, yeah, you can't join. You don't have your spleen. I'm like, yes, I do. No, you don't. It says right here that you had a splenectomy. I'm like, no, I have my spleen. I would know if I had it cut out of me or not.
Wow.
So they're like, no, I'm like, so here I am in the middle of MEPS in Tampa, Florida, and they're looking at me going, I dropped my pants and I raised my shirt up. I said, do you see any scars? I said, so unless they can just pull it out of me, through my belly button or out of my ass, I'm like, I still have to, like, son, pull your pants back up and go back in there. Go back there. You can go get seen. And my recruiter comes up. He's like, what is this that I heard about you dropping your pants down in the middle of MEPS? I'm like, they tried to tell me I had my spleen taken out. He's like, why couldn't you? I did tell them, sorry, they weren't listening. It said on this thing that I had a splenectomy. He looked at it. He's like, okay, well, obviously somebody wrote this wrong. He's like, we know you didn't have it taken out, but next time, don't drop your pants in the middle of the freaking place. He's like, I got my butt chewed from the first sergeant. I'm like, sorry, but they told me I couldn't join. So I go back and, they pass me and I'm like, all right, great. I get in and, that was it. I tell them, see you later. And, next thing I know, I'm out of there like 2 weeks later and I'm off on my way out.
Where'd you go?
Fort Dix, New Jersey.
And what's that camp called?
Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Yeah. I was thinking you were telling me it's the city.
No, Fort Dix.
And how was it?
It was pretty neat. That was actually, I was always the only place I had ever been out of Florida by that time was one time in Georgia and then in Missouri to see my grandparents. So that was my first time.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm in New Jersey in February, and it's the first time I ever saw snow in my life. So never seen snow until then. So we're out there. They got the different buildings, and we're out there doing. As a matter of fact, it was like learn how to read a map. So here we are in this building, and they got the the potbelly stove going. So we got the heat going inside there, and all of a sudden, it just starts snowing. Never seen in my life. So, drill sergeant having everybody get into the building, and I'm just standing out there staring up in the, sky, just sitting there going, wow, wow. Drill sergeant's just yelling at me. I don't hear nothing. He's just yelling, Parkhurst, get your ass inside. I'm just like, wow. They're like, drill sergeant's like, what's wrong with that private? One of the guys like, drill sergeant, he's from Florida. He ain't never seen snow before in his life. I'm just standing there going, wow. Drill sergeant comes out, get your ass inside before you get frostbite. I'm like, drill sergeant, snow. He's like, no shit, get inside. He's like, you're going to see plenty of that. Get in here. So I was like, okay, but there's snow. He's like, I know, private, get inside. So I was like, hey, it's something new to me, There's white stuff falling in the sky.
How was the all the PT and all that stuff, and how did you handle that?
Oh, oh, that was crazy for me because I got there, and I got shin splints when I got there. I dropped my arches. I literally broke my arches in my feet. They thought I was going to end up getting cycled out because it was hard for me. I went in, I started off at I was about 230, 240 when I got in there. So, I'm like, great, I was a big boy anyways. But by the time I get out of there, I ended up being 190 pounds.
Wow.
So I go in, and, by the time I get out, I go to put on my civilian clothes, and my jeans are just falling off of me. I had to take my belt and just make a new hole in it and tie it up tight as I could because my pants barely, I can barely hold them up. But I go in, my nickname they gave me was Heavy D because I was the biggest kid in the freaking bunch. By the time I get out there, we ought to call you Slim D now, because I went from being the biggest kid to, here I am, almost like a beanpole is what they were like when I got out of there. They're like, man, you actually got collarbones now, They're like, you went in here chubby cheeked, and all of a sudden, now you got a slim face on you and stuff.
How was your drill sergeant? Did you get along with him or not?
Yeah, I'll never forget him. The drill sergeant's name was Michael Jordan.
Okay.
So Michael Jordan he was a staff sergeant. He was pretty cool. Had him, and then we had Sergeant Kelly. They were pretty cool.
Were they busting your chops like crazy?
Oh my God. It was, back in 89, it was funny though. God, we also ran in boots, and they would just give us, they just give us a rash of shit. So, your fire guard, our fire guard fell asleep, and all of a sudden they're up there and they get everybody in the hallway. You're all dead. Everybody's dead. Your fire guard fell asleep. Everybody's dead now. Get in the hallway. You're all dead. You're all freaking toasted, and everybody get outside. So now everybody, we're crawling around. Just constantly. It was crazy. Looking back then, it's like you sit there and go, "Oh my God!" Kids nowadays, they'd be crying, but it's like I look back at it now. Even though it was just crazy, but it was. I look back and I go, that was actually fun. I just low crawling around, and it didn't matter, up, down, but it was unique. It's an experience, I guess is the easiest way of saying it.
It sounds like you must have been proud of yourself walking out of there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of weight to lose, dude.
Oh yeah. I loved it. I felt good. I went home. People that knew me just, as that double, triple take, is that you, Carl? What happened? You got cancer or smoking crack or something? You're on. It's like, no, I joined the Army. Oh, okay. So
That's cool.
Yeah, people saw me. They're like, man, you've slimmed up a lot. I'm like, it's like, that's what basic training will do to you. The Army sits there and whip you into shape. Yeah.
So where did you go after that?
I went to Aberdeen Proving Grounds in Maryland. That's where I went and did my.
Is that their training for the artillery stuff?
Yep, that's where I went for my mechanical training for artillery mechanic.
Yeah, what was that like?
Well, same kind of thing. We had drill sergeants there too, and Drill Sergeant Galloway, great guy, little, called him Baby Drill. I mean, he was a really short guy. Yeah, I made the mistake of calling him Baby Drill to his face one time. I was like, he's like Parkhurst. I'm like, yes, Baby Drill. And I made that mistake. Dying cockroach, move. I was down on the ground and just, sitting there looking like a cockroach, laying on his back. I stayed in that position for a very long time with him. We had a very small class. Our class size was only 10 people.
Wow.
And since our whole class, I mean, we were learning really quick. So they ended up giving us some additional training on some wheel mechanic side of the house and stuff, because we were going through our modules too quick. So they were like, well, here, come over here and learn some more stuff. So it's like, okay, that was great. But funny thing for me was later on in my career, right around when 9/11 happened, I was actually an instructor, and I was back at Aberdeen teaching people to become an artillery mechanic. And I ran into Drill Sergeant Galloway again. But
what was he doing?
He was actually walking through. He was a sergeant major by that time. And I hear that voice, and I'm like, Baby Drill, drop Parkhurst. He didn't even look. He just heard Baby Drill, and he's like, drop Parkhurst. He turns around. I'm like, how's it going, Sergeant Major? He's like, Sergeant First Class. He's like, it's going great. Get down and get in the dying cockroach now. Roger that. He's like, I can't believe you remembered my voice. I'm like, I can't believe you remembered mine. He's like, you're the only one in my whole career that ever called me Baby Drill. He's like, yeah, I'll never forget you. I'm like, I can't forget that voice either. So
how long were you there?
At Aberdeen, as an instructor, I did instructing there for almost 3 years.
How long were you there for training?
For training, I was there for about 7 months.
And were you kind of happy you chose that?
Oh yeah.
Point? Yeah. Did you enjoy working on the artillery?
Oh yeah. Yeah, working on the howitzers, that was fun. We got to work on those.
Describe that for me, for somebody who doesn't know what those are.
Howitzer is just it was self-propelled. So in other words, it's just it's a giant cannon on a track chassis. So people know, basically like a tank with a big cannon on it. And so I mean, just getting to learn how to work on a track vehicle, it was really fun. And learn how to work on the recovery vehicles that could recover those. So had our recovery vehicles, 56-ton vehicles, to be able to tow those around. That was fun too. So,
what was that called? The thing that recovered it?
M88 is what we call them, and then they came out with the newer ones were called the Hercules. But I mean, they were fun. I mean, just to sit there and drive those. We got they called it Hotel 8 training. So we went through recovery training, which was an additional 2-week training. Got to go out there and play in the mud, and they would just, they put track vehicles like old tracks, and they had them like buried all, like in mud, like up to the, like up halfway or almost all the way up to the top of the turret of the vehicle. And it's like, okay, now you got to go swimming in the mud and go find the shackle area. Now you get to go, dive down in the mud, pit and try to find the spot underneath the mud. And okay, now hook the chain up to it, let's pull it out of there. So, I mean, we got to go swimming in mud every day for 2 weeks, but it was fun. So, get to go play in the mud, pull everything out, learn how to flip vehicles back over, and so work the cranes and the winches and stuff. So it was really fun to do.
And at the same time all this was happening, is that when Desert Shield started? Kind of. Were you there? Was that before this?
That was before, yeah.
Okay.
That was still that was in '89. So
and you were there in '87?
No, I was there in '89.
Oh, so, you were there in '89.
In
89.
Okay. Yeah, all through '89. So when I left there at the end of '89, then I was at I went to Fort Polk, Louisiana. So then I stayed in Fort Polk, Louisiana until 90. In 90, I turned around. Then I went to Korea. Then got stuck from in Korea. I was there from 90 to 92. So that's when I was stuck in Korea during the Gulf War.
Were you bummed that you didn't go to Gulf War? Or what did you think at the time? What did you think?
Honestly, I mean, they were asking for volunteers, and a bunch of us were like, hey, we'll go, because we knew what was happening. If we couldn't go, we were going to get stuck there. And then they ended up going, no, we don't need anybody. And we all got stuck there. we didn't want to.
Stuck there in South Korea.
Stuck in South Korea.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to, we didn't want our tour extended. So, I mean, we were already going to be over there for a year. So it's like, and so instead of being there for a year, I was there for over, like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be. So it's like, if we could get out of there, it's like, hey, a lot of us were young anyway. So it's like, yeah, we'll go to Saudi. We didn't care. We want to get out of there.
For a kid that didn't travel much until you got in the Army, what was it like going to South Korea?
Honestly, I mean, I tell you, when I got in the Army, just getting to go around different places, it was great. I mean, we had what was called Katusas. They were Korean soldiers that were augmentees into the United States Army. So the U.S. Army would pay the ROK Army, which is South Korean Army, to have some of their soldiers work with our soldiers. And so I had one as a roommate, and he actually took me around Korea and stuff. So South Korea, he took me around. I met his family, went to his house and eat. And so I got to, learn a lot about Korea and see a lot of it.
You said his dad wanted you to.
Yeah, his dad was trying to get me to marry his daughter. And then I was like, I already have a wife. He's like, he's like, okay, well, you can still come over and eat, but he's like, he's like, I guess you can't be my son-in-law, though. I'm like, huh? Thanks for the food.
And you tell me this story. You said they were pretty hardcore, the South Korean.
Oh my God. That's why I'll tell you, that's why the Katusas wanted to be with the U.S. Army, because the ROK soldiers, they had a reason why they were the ROK soldiers. They were strong like a rock. They were crazy. I mean, these guys would be out there in the dead of winter. I mean, running in nothing but shorts. I mean, bare feet. It didn't matter. I mean, these guys are out there sitting there carrying freaking telephone pole logs, running down the road. They didn't care. I mean, these guys were just rock hard. I mean, crazy. I mean, nobody wanted to mess with them. I mean, they were just top of the line. But I mean, they all had to go in for 2 years. I mean, it
was mandatory.
Yep, it's mandatory. You had to go in for 2 years, period. So what I learned is most of the guys were telling me that were Katusas were pretty much the ones that were there with us. Most of the families, they were, well off. So the ones that got to go to the U.S. Army were well off. So they had connections, pretty much is what I was taught. Like, their families knew people.
Yeah.
So those were the ones that got to come over to us. So the ones that were in the ROK Army, when they saw Katusas, they did not like them. They hated each other because yeah.
Well, what else happened? Anything over there that stands out in your mind that happened in South Korea?
Well, I think the worst thing is watching a South Korean civilian decide. He got mad because he was driving behind our convoy, and decided that he was mad because we were going too slow. So he decided to go up in front of a howitzer while we were going downhill and decided, well, I'm going to jam my brakes on in front of you because you're going too slow. And now you're going to have to stop behind me. And then found out that a howitzer cannot stop that fast. And then also find out that you could be a flattened pancake too. So yeah, he got crushed. His car literally got ran over. Unfortunately, yes, he did not make that one. He got ran over. And all I can remember was calling up to the front of the convoy, telling the first sergeant, "We need to stop." He's like, kind of like, "Why?" We got a Korean civilian that car got crushed. Okay, well, tell him that we'll have civilian affairs get with him. No, first sergeant. The person was in the car at the time that it got crushed. Okay, stop the convoy. And having to explain that one on how that worked, just like first sergeant, the driver couldn't do anything because I was in a deuce and a half. I'm like, first sergeant, the guy was being a dick. He was between my vehicle and the howitzer in front of me. He was blowing his horn the whole time, thinking that the howitzer driver was being an ass or something. It's like, you know how our convoys go. Well, he decided we were going downhill, and he went and got in front of the howitzer, and he hit his brakes, and the howitzer couldn't stop. I'm like, for certain, you know how the howitzers are. He hit him and just kind of rolled over him. And that was the end of it. I mean,
did that become a firestorm there in the country or no? What was the fallout of that? Nothing?
Well, I'll tell you, I was a specialist at the time. So the only thing I knew is I told the first sergeant the guy got ran over, and that was the last thing I knew about it.
Wow.
So I don't know. I'm sure the powers that may be said something.
Yeah. But I'll bet some money changed hands at the end of that.
I'm sure, but that was above my pay grade at the time.
Yeah. Okay, so you left South Korea.
Yeah, left South Korea. I left there in '92.
Yeah.
I turned around and went to Fort Benning, Georgia.
Yeah.
Spent 5 years there.
And what did you do in Fort Benning?
When I was there, I turned around. We did a Operation Vigilant Warrior while I was there. It was like just a show of force. Went to Saudi for 90 days, just to kind of say, hey, look, we're still around. Went over there, pulled the vehicles off the boats, drove them around out there in the desert for 90 days, made sure everything worked, kind of basically dust off the cobwebs, roll them around, and then put them back on the ships, and then took off and came back to the States.
What do you think of Saudi Arabia at the time?
A lot of dust. It was just a big old dust bowl to me. We went out there. It's like, it was called lid. It's like you didn't want to be lid, lost in desert. You sit there, and we were driving in a convoy, and we're just sitting here, and all of a sudden we're just sitting there for hours, just waiting and waiting because it's just like just nothing. And then all of a sudden, here's a convoy going a cross pattern. So you're sitting there waiting for that convoy to go across, and then you get to go. And all of a sudden, you're like, kind of looking in front of you, and it's like, wait a minute, there's a couple trucks ahead of you, but you were like, 20 in line, but there's only 2 trucks in front of you now. Where's the other, 18? Oh, the guy that's 2 ahead of you fell asleep.
Oh no.
Yeah. So now you're wondering where everybody's at. Yeah. Then you become lost in the desert. Yeah. So, somebody falls asleep. So, yeah. So that was the worst. That's the bad thing. You don't want to become lost in the desert.
Yeah.
So, you just sit there and try to follow tracks on the ground, and, when the dust is blowing around, those go away. But yeah, we just go out there and play around and
then you loaded up that stuff and
just
gone.
Gone again.
Man, you are seeing all the world.
Yeah. I enjoyed it there, though. Went to Benning, enjoyed it there. Stayed there for 5 years, and then took off from there and went to Germany after that.
And how was Germany?
Germany for 3 years, and spent out of that 3 years, I spent a whole probably about 8 months of it in Germany. The rest of the time I was deployed out of Germany. Went to Bosnia.
Was that at the beginning of the Bosnian thing? Or was that towards the end?
That was I was there middle-ish of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because let's see. I was there in that would have been 97. So 97, I was in Bosnia. Went out there.
What was that like?
Well, of course, it was all police action, is what they called it then. I was on. It was, let's see. That was Camp Valhalla. I was in the Danish sector, so we were on a Danish camp. It was pretty fun. So we were under Danish control. It was only one platoon out there of artillery, and all the rest of it was just the Danish, Swedish people. It was great because by that time I was a staff sergeant in the Army, and everything there is you're not used to. It's like all of a sudden you find out that it was like officer NCO, is like one thing, and then enlisted like E4 and below is its own thing. So it's like NCO and above. Hey, this is their shower area and all that kind of stuff. Well, they forgot to mention to us that it was also co-ed.
Over there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So you're in there, and it's like all of a sudden, they forget to tell you this, and because it's normal to them. So you're over there, and you're like, oh man, hot and sweaty, taking a shower and get done, and you get that feeling like somebody's staring at you, and you're getting ready to cuss some guy out for, why are you looking at my junk or something, and then it's not a guy, it's some chick, and you're like, you're looking at her going, am I in the wrong place? And she's like, hello. You're like, am I in the woman's? No, it's co-ed. I'm like, oh. Yeah, as soon as all the soldiers found out that, all the soldiers were trying to come over in the officer NCO shower area. And we had to start posting guards to keep them out of there because they were all trying to come over there. Because for whatever reason, the soldier area was not co-ed, just the officer and NCO.
I wonder why.
I think that's why. Because, all the soldiers wanted it to be co-ed. So, it was like, it was crazy. I mean, because they could drink, they could do all that kind of stuff. So, you had the temptation there. We couldn't drink. Yeah, I mean, it was funny because we were sitting there and New Year's Eve, and it was like we had alcohol-free beer, and even though it was alcohol-free, everybody, you could only have 2. It's like, wow, I could have 2 alcohol-free beers for New Year's, yay! And you're looking over at these Danes and Swedes getting freaking pound-ass drunk, they got hard liquor. And
was there much military stuff actually happening, or was it pretty calm?
Well,
what your perspective?
It was unique over there. I mean, it was more just little skirmishes actually over there. A lot of the things we were finding over there were more they were attacking mosques over there, trying to burn them down, blow them up and stuff. Everything was more. It wasn't like full on big attacks going on. It was more, smaller, just pinpoint attacks that were going. So that's why as a platoon, we would just take our platoon to different areas and we would split down more into sections, and we just guarded different mosques. Cause our main goal was to keep the mosque from getting destroyed. Cause that's what a lot of them were doing. It was like working for the Albanians, and then go to Kosovo. Now we're working, we're working for the Serbs at one. Now that we're working for the Albanians and the other. I mean, it's just.
So you'd get posted out in front of a place.
Yeah, that's what we really did. We literally guarded. We would guard the mosques.
How many guys would go guard a mosque?
We normally we had like like 2 guns out there. So I mean, we'd have 2 sections, roughly about say 8, 12 guys.
Yeah.
So just
you take the artillery out there.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, because again, it's just like, hey, look, it's
kind of a show force.
Yeah, exactly. It was more of a, hey, look, we have a big gun pointed at you. It's.
Did you ever see anything? No, nobody really did anything. Did they mess with you guys?
We had a couple. We actually we had one guy. We called him the Mad Mortarman. I mean, he had to have military training. He took a mortar and he had a skid plate. He actually mounted it and welded it on the back of his truck, in the bed of his truck. And this guy, I mean, he knew what he was doing. I mean,
he was a freelancer there.
Oh,
which was that, Kosovo or in?
That one was in Kosovo. He would sit there and he would shoot and move. He'd sit there and pop off a couple rounds, and by the time everybody knew where he was at, he would move. So he knew the tactics. Shoot a couple rounds, and by the time we triangulate, know where he's at, he's already, he's moved, he's shooting again. So we actually would sit there, and we're like, okay, we posted people around, and so we had 4 observers out there, 13 Fox. We had fisters out there just waiting, and we just kind of just set up people and just scouted and waited for him to come around. And here he comes. He was trying his thing, and this time it's like, okay, he stopped and he was getting ready to do his thing and start shooting at us. And next thing you know, he got hit.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, yeah. He was trying to shoot mortars at us again, but this time we were ready for him, and we shot at him and sat there and hit his truck this time. So finally, we got him.
What was he called? The Mortarman?
We call him the Mad Mortarman.
The Mad Mortarman.
Yep. Because like I said, he had just like a small, knot, like Datsun truck, just a little small one that he just drove it around. He just stopped, boom, boom, and started rolling again.
How long had he been doing that?
Oh, I mean, it took us weeks to finally get him.
Wow.
Because he wasn't only hitting our camp, he was hitting other camps. So I mean, it's like we didn't know. So we literally ended up we got we coordinated with other camps, and we posted people all over the place waiting for this guy. And I mean, waited and waited. I mean, it took weeks, and then finally we got lucky, and there he was. And because we tried to capture him, and he knew it. He saw us, and then he waited. He laid low for quite a while, and that kind of thing. Like, okay, well, we know he's not coming back. You got that. Okay, he's gone. He's not coming back. You get relaxed. Nope. Now we're getting mortars again. Okay, let's go out there and look for him again. So we finally just waited, and then we got lucky.
Was it exciting for you to be around the howitzers when they're shooting them off?
Oh God, yes.
What's that like?
I guess the easiest way of saying it is it's like the hand of God. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, to sit there and the pull the we call it pull and tail. You sit there and you pull the lanyard, and just hear the sound of that gun shooting off. You just, oh my God, it is just incredible just to hear the round go. But to be the one inside there shooting it, I mean, it's really cool to shoot it. But then you're like, if you can sit there and shoot it, and then go out there and then watch one as it shoots, and then of course, be on the receiving end and see what it, what it does, the aftermath and everything, to see the whole, from start to finish. I mean, it is amazing what it can do.
Like a big round, how huge crater?
Oh, I mean, it make a good size. I mean, easiest way of saying it is his Nissan truck was, not a truck anymore. It was like a bunch of pieces everywhere, just little bitty pieces. And
describe the whole process of how you shoot one of those off.
Well, I mean, they'll sit there and they take the round, and they stick the round inside the tube, and they well, we call it, they'll ram the the round into the tube. They put the powder bag behind that, close the breech, turn around and put the primer into the breech, and then they sit there and I say pull string, get peanut. They'll pull the lanyard and it shoots the little primer cap off. It's kind of like a little 12 gauge shotgun shell in a sense, and it just makes the powder ignite. So it's just little, basically spark, fire, boom.
And is it like air pressure changes when that thing goes off?
Oh, I mean, to sit there and watch the recoil. I mean, if you've seen if you ever seen like a 50 cal, shoot, like just to sit there and watch the recoil of the tube itself, to watch that it's amazing, because just to watch the recoil of the tube come back, and then just the dust and the dirt come around and just shoot up into the air. I can remember standing behind the gun watching it shoot, and next thing you know, your hat blows off your head and it goes behind you. But people sit there and say you're crazy, but if you stand behind it and just watch the end of the muzzle, you can literally watch the round go out the tube.
Wow.
And people, no, you can't. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, just if you seriously watch the muzzle when it fires, you can seriously watch the round actually go out the tube and watch it go into the air. It is crazy. It's fun.
How many can you fire off in a minute? Is it multiple, or does it take a minute?
It takes a minute. You got to think, it's as quick as somebody can basically move. I mean,
so once it fires, somebody's got to unlock the thing.
Well, I mean, when it fires, the breech automatically turns around and opens up. So it opens up, but then you got to think, then somebody's got to pick up the round, put the round in. Then they take the rammer, they got to ram the round up into the tube. Then they got to take the powder bag, put the powder bag in there, close the breech, put the primer in, move the firing mechanism over, hook the lanyard up, pull the lanyard.
And who's setting the direction of it? Is that some control on the side then?
Well, chief of section, they have a guy. I mean, now old school way, back when I first started, I mean, they had they literally just had like a joystick. It was right. It's kind of like playing a little video game. They had a joystick that would just move the gun around. I mean, you go even older than that. They had
they were cranking it.
Yep, they could crank it, which is kind of funny because as a mechanic, you look at when they would say their track was deadline. The way they're done now is they have a gun servo. You just sit there and they could punch in the coordinates, and they could just basically press a button and it just goes to the coordinates of where it needs to go for it to fire.
Right.
Of course, still, the people need to put the round in and shoot it that way, but all they have to do is the coordinates come in and they just press the button and it sets itself for where it needs to go. So as a mechanic, it's like, well, if that doesn't work, well, you still got the joystick. If that doesn't work, you still have the crank.
Oh, wow.
Well, you get the sections going, oh, my gun servo doesn't work. My vehicle's deadline. No. Does your joystick work? Yes. Then it's not deadline. Oh, my joystick and my gun servo doesn't work. Okay, well, does your crank work? Yes. Okay, start cranking because it's not deadline. And they would hate me, They'd sit there and they'd look at the mechanics like, it's deadline. No, it's not. Look at your manual. Your manual says as long as one of three ways works, it's not deadline. Get to cranking. You may hate me, but you can still do your mission. You're just going to be very slow. And they would just, oh my God, they'd just be so mad. And it's like, well, this is how we get even with you, because when we're in the rear and you're in your room playing Nintendo, we're down at the motor pool working every day. And we work all day when we're in the rear, and we work all day in the field. So,
now, did you become pretty good friends with all these guys over there?
Oh, a lot of them, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you got to build that unit cohesion. I mean, keep your the mechanics and the crew members, you keep each other happy. I mean, you get some of the crew guys. I'll tell you, I had ones that by the time I got out there, they were like, "Oh, hey, this is what's wrong." I had guys that knew what they were talking about. So there were ones that I went out there, they'd already be like, "Hey, Sergeant Parkhurst, this is what's wrong," and I was like, "Okay." I already knew they knew it. They were right. And some of my guys were like, "Why are you going to believe them?" Because he knows his vehicle.
Yeah.
So some guys, you're like, he knows what he's talking about. And other guys, you're like, yeah, I don't trust him.
Right.
So, you would know the ones that carried and the ones that don't. You get those one guys that that's their bread and butter. They're like, I want my vehicle at tip-top shape. Those were the ones that cared. They were down there all the time. They wanted their stuff working. Well, when their stuff worked and they made sure it worked in the rear, well, those were the ones you didn't have to worry about out in the field. The ones that you never saw in the rear, those were the ones that you were always
right.
seeing in the field.
Right.
So it really mattered. It's like, so that's why we always would sit there. We started doing things like, hey, areas of emphasis, so in the rear, it's like this week, hey, batteries are what we're really looking at. So we made it that people had to be there.
Now so they stayed on top of it.
Yeah. So now we're going to go through, and we would go through and we would say, hey, we want to see this area. So we kind of forced it that people were down there. And next thing you know, people started caring more. And,
How old were those guns? Were a lot of them pretty old?
Yeah. I mean,
and then they would just fit the electronics and stuff to them?
Yeah. Yeah. They would just, they'd put it into, they'd refurbish them. I mean, because the actual bodies of the vehicles were the same. They just would change components and, modify them.
Yeah.
So, they just went in and refit them and come back out with, new stuff on the inside.
Okay. So you finished in Kosovo or in Bosnia?
Kosovo.
Okay. And then what?
After Kosovo, let's see, came back to Germany for a little bit, left there, and I went to Fort Lewis, Washington.
And how was that?
Well, very, very quick, very short.
You weren't there very long.
No, when I was leaving Germany, I was sitting there telling Branch, I was like, I need to go somewhere else. And they're like, no, you're going to go to Fort Lewis. I'm like, they're getting rid of my MOS there. I'm like, heavy artillery is not going to be there anymore. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like,
how did you know when they didn't know?
Boots on the ground. I'm like, I got friends that are there. They are getting rid of those. Those units are going to be light units. The heavy artillery is getting turned in. The vehicles are going away right now. So I'm telling them, look, I have friends that are there. They are turning in those vehicles. There's only one heavy unit there, and they're physically turning in those vehicles right now. They're going away. And I got Branch telling me, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I'm talking to the people themselves. How do you not know? I'm like, I know because one of my guys that just left here 6 months ago is telling me this.
Wow.
And he's like, so finally, I'm like, fine. I go there. And then next thing I know, the same guy that's arguing with me from Branch is all of a sudden there at Fort Lewis, coming there to help everybody out to find a new place to go. And I get to meet him face to face 6 months later. And I look at him face to face and I said, I told you so. He's looking at me going, I'm like, I told you 6 months ago that you're sending me someplace where I was not going to be needed. And now you just sat there and wasted my time, moved my whole family here for no reason. And you could have left me in Germany or you could have put me somewhere else. And it's like, why don't you put me back in Germany? My stuff's not even here yet. It's still on the boat. It hasn't even left. Just, come on, put me right back there. Oh no, that'd be a hardship for your family. It's like, the hardship is you moved us here. and now we have to leave. That's the hardship. But they turn around and sent us to Aberdeen Proving Grounds. So went there and instructed people how to do my job instead for 3 years.
And how did you enjoy doing that?
Yeah, that was fun. That was actually really fun. Got to do that. And then we changed how our job was being done. So changed the whole doctrine as far as how maintenance was done.
Were you involved in that a little bit?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that part was actually fun. What we did was, because before we had different mechanics. So you had like the artillery mechanics, you had the vehicle mechanic, and then you had the turret mechanic. And that's how it was when I first went in. So you had 63 Delta. They actually worked on the track part, which is what I was.
Yeah.
And then when you got to, when you made sergeant, then you kind of went in together, because staff sergeant, now you're a 63 Delta. So 45 and 63, you're the same thing. So they figure by the time you're a staff sergeant, both jobs.
Right.
So instead of it being two different jobs, they merged them. So now instead of being a turret mechanic or a track mechanic, you're an artillery mechanic. So that was, the merging of it. They put them together. So it's, it was pretty cool. So we did those. We had to rewrite everything, of course, but all it was really is like, hey, instead of, say, 6 months or something, or 7 months, hey, now we're going to put both of these together, and, let's try to shorten this though, hey, half a year training here and half a year training here, but let's not make it a year training. We got to still try to put this together, but, but make what would be a year training, but let's make it to 9 months, because we didn't want to make it too long.
Right.
So yeah, that was okay. Now we had to go through it and pick through it and what's the most important thing and stuff.
What year was that?
That was, let's see, 97, 2000. That was 2001, 2002. So it was like right after, that was actually like right after 9/11.
9/11.
Yep.
And how did 9/11 affect you out there?
I was teaching principles of automotive when 9/11 happened. So I was actually on the podium teaching people, how how to sit there and, hey, this is how automotive works. The mechanics behind automotive. And I'm sitting there talking to people, and next thing I know, I have somebody knocking on my door telling me to come out, and they told me what happened, and they're like, hey, you need to ask your class, do they have anybody that, happens to have anybody who works at the Twin Towers, anybody's, mom or dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I actually had one guy that his dad worked there, and that was kind of hard. The whole place, we ended up having, there was 5 students that had family that worked there. And bad part, obviously, was none of the 5 had any that made it. So that was, upsetting because, we were right there. I mean, you figure
how many kids were in that class?
Oh, our classes, my class, I had 45 students in mine. But
man, that's a high percentage.
Yeah. Well, mine was 45. I had one out of 45. But
You mean out of the whole thing.
Yeah, out of the whole, because we had wheel division and track division. And out of our both divisions together, there were 5 students there. Wow. So out of that whole thing, you figure we had about 300 students, and out of 300 students, 5 students.
Wow. That's a lot, I think.
Yeah, I still think so, But out of 300, 5 people had, relatives that were there. And that was sad, having to lose somebody. And then, of course, since we were right there by BWI, we had to turn around and, we ended up, that happened. We turned around and post had to shut down. We turned around and closed the post. We posted guards at the gate. Everything got locked down. We ended up having to go to BWI and guard the airport for, for a while there.
Wow. Yeah. That was a pretty crazy time.
Oh yeah. Cause before they had TSA, that's what we were doing. We ended up going there and checking people, making sure people didn't have.
Wow. How long did that last?
Oh, it actually, I was really surprised that it didn't last as long. We were only there for, we did that stuff for, like about a month or so. that's quick, I think.
Yeah.
You know, they got it stood up pretty fast that they had people there start searching.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was like, it's kind of weird though, because all of a sudden you got military people walking around an airport with M16s.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're not much of a free country anymore, are we? You know, we got military walking around the airport with guns. But I mean, that's what happens.
It was some crazy times.
Yeah.
So then, okay, and then what was your next assignment after that?
Oh boy. I left there and the Army decided to put me into recruiting.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I went to Little Rock, Arkansas.
That's random.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And how was Little Rock?
It was all right. I actually I went there. Actually my wife at the time, her family was around that area. So
this is post Clinton.
Yeah.
Right?
This is
He was 90s.
Yeah.
Present. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He was from Hope, Arkansas.
Yeah. And how long were you in Little Rock?
I was there for 3 years and 17 days.
Okay. No, okay. I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna make a prediction that you were pretty good at recruiting because of your experience.
Yeah.
With your recruiter.
Yes.
Did your recruiter know that you ended up becoming a recruiter?
No. I had lost contact with him for a long time ago. No, I sat there and yeah. Yeah.
So you don't even put in for that. They just say, is that right?
Well, you can. You can put in for that. You can put in for drill sergeant. I actually put in to go for drill sergeant. And I guess that was my mistake. I put in for drill sergeant and they were like, oh, let's put him in recruiting instead. So I went. I'll be honest,
recruiter. From an outsider, you seem like more of a recruiter than a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
You seem way too nice to be a drill sergeant.
Yeah, well, my thing was, I mean, in all honesty, I would have stayed right there at Aberdeen, being the drill sergeant. So I wouldn't have minded,
Because at this point, you were sick of moving.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I tell you, it would have been a nice break just to stay there for a little while longer. But, I went recruiting. And, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I know I helped some people out by doing it. But I mean, the hard part for me was that was during Iraq too. And I mean, to have somebody just sit there and to be called a baby killer.
Were you getting that then?
Yeah.
Really?
I had
give me some of those stories.
I had an elderly woman come up to me, literally spit right in my face.
At the recruiting place? Or where were you?
On the street. I mean, just sitting there in the freaking mall. I was just walking in the mall, and she just came right up at me, spit right in my face, called me a baby killer. And
how old was this lady?
I mean, she was, I'd say probably about late 60s, early 70s.
Wow.
And I mean, of course, I knew all I could do is just wipe it off and just smile. I mean, all I could see is Army recruiter hits old lady or something like, yeah, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't be anything going, old lady spits in Army recruiter's face. It'd be whatever I did. So,
wow.
all I did was just, wipe it off. I looked at her and I said, ma'am, I am proud to support and defend the Constitution of the United States to give you the right to speak so ignorant. Have a nice day.
Wow.
And she just kind of looked at me. I walked away.
Wow.
Now, I will tell you, I mean, everybody I put in, I mean, I told them, hey, are you going to go to Iraq? Yes. You might, you go in for 3 years. You might even go twice. I just told people that. And the funny thing about it is when I left there, I ended up coming here to, I came to Fort Hood, Texas, and I ended up I went almost straight over to Iraq. I sat there and left, got here and left.
Hold on, what year was that?
Well, I got here in 2006.
Okay, so hold on, back up. So you're in You're in Arkansas for 3 years and 17 days.
Yep, 3 years and 17 days. I was only supposed to do 3 years, and they got me for an additional 17 days. And when they told me that was messed up, I told them, I said, "You're right. You all kept me 17 days too long."
Okay, but before we move on, how many guys would you say went through your recruiting? How many guys did you deal with probably in that 3 years?
Oh, in that 3 years, we were supposed to put in two people a month. And if you think about it, you go, "Oh, that's not a lot." It really is. I mean, if you think about it, you're not selling somebody a car. You're selling them a way of life, because it's like, you're not saying, "Hey, here's a car." You're like, "Here is a career," but this is not a career that you just go, "No, I don't like it," and walk away from it. You don't get buyer's remorse. It's, "Oh, okay, well, you don't like it. Sorry, son, you got to do this for the next 3 years, or you're going to ruin your life." You don't just walk away from it. So it's that kind of thing that, if you do this, you need to be ready to do it. And I mean, that's why it's, people are.
So is that about what you did? 2 a month, basically? Yeah. That is quite a few. I think.
Yeah. Now, the most I put in 1 month was 5. I put 5 people in. And I mean, that was crazy. Now, I will tell you that recruiting was bad. I mean, back then it was a toxic environment.
What do you mean? Oh, just because of the
Not that. I mean, honestly, back then, recruiting itself, the demand, it was very hard.
The demand, what do you mean?
I mean, like, my chain of command, the way it was said, like, no nutrition before mission. In other words, you didn't sleep, you didn't eat until you put in the people that you needed to put in. That was their thought process back then. And it was crazy. You didn't do it, then, you got extra training because you didn't do it. And you had a quota, and that was it.
Oh, you mean for you recruiters?
Yes.
They were really putting the heat on you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Is that because they felt like they needed bodies over there?
No, it was just the simple fact that that was your mission, period.
Yeah.
That's what you needed to do. And they didn't care. And my chain of command, when I was first at it, I just had a toxic chain of command. But then when that changed, I had a good first sergeant and a good commander that took over, and the environment changed. Everybody was happy. And what was funny is we got even better. Yeah. And that's the thing.
You're saying originally they were just riding your ass all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was,
it's like a sales job. And they're pushing you to sell.
Yeah, it was really bad though. I mean, and it does. I mean, your command climate can change things for the better or the worse. Yeah. And the way they were, the ones that I had when I first got there to when I left, it was night and day.
Wow.
And the ones that were riding you, they made it worse. The ones that were like, "Hey, you gave it your all, you didn't make it. Let's do better next time." Those were the ones that, wow. Let me come out there with you. Let's see what you're doing. Hey, why don't you try this? Let me see if I can help you out there. Those were the ones that, they got results because they wanted to help you out.
Is there one story in particular, anybody you recruited that you were proud of, or was it all just, did it all just kind of blend together?
No, I mean, I can sit there and I can tell you, the first person I put in, Ellen Burchett. She was awesome. I will tell you. She wanted to do military police. Her ultimate goal was like to go in and she wanted to do like FBI, that kind of thing. But I mean, I'll say it, she was a beast. We would do like PT and stuff. So we had the whole company out there, all the DEPs, delayed entry program. All the DEPs were out there doing a PT test. She sat there and I mean, she beat all the guys. There was only one person that gave her a run for her money. And that happened to be the second person I put in, Scott Fowler. Both of those two right there, Ellen Burchett and Scott Fowler, they were good, but she beat him. He was trying to stay up with her on the run. But that woman sat there and beat everybody on push-ups and sit-ups.
Wow.
Yeah, she was a beast, and she was crazy. I was like, man, that's how she was. But yeah, she was the first person I put in. He was the second. There's people that I have ones that stick out in my head. Those two do. Philip, cool. Yeah, Philip Hill. He sticks out in my head.
Dude, the fact that you can remember these names is incredible to me.
He. I remember him because I tell you, he's the one. I put him in. He came back. He was on the. Like the hometown recruiter program. So when he got done with basic training and AIT, he came back and he assisted me in putting people in. So he turned around and actually helped me get somebody. And it was a thing that was going on at the time. So what it was whoever helped put somebody in, so whatever recruiter got the most people in, with their hometown recruiter, their hometown recruiter got to meet the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. I have a picture of me with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders because Philip Hill, he won. So, yep, I take him to see the cheerleaders. He gets a picture with them. I'm just standing back watching. And then, of course, they turn around and they look at me and they go, hey, you want your picture taken too? I'm like, yes. So I got a picture of me with the cheerleaders. I'm like, oh, yeah.
You might need to send that to me. I need to put this in there. That's good. That's cool.
Yeah. So, he did that. And then the other one would be Michael Crenshaw. Him and his sister, they both went to Benton High School, and they competed in a lot of things. Okay. His sister was she was the commander of the junior ROTC program when she went through, and they were always competing. Now she didn't go in. I think she ended up going into teaching, but it was like they did the ASVAB, right? I think he scored like a 97 or a 98, right? The high score is a 99. She got a 99. She's like, I scored higher than you. They were always just competitive with each other. Well, I'll tell you, Michael was like, nah, he was like, tanker. All I want to do is be a tanker. I want to blow shit up. Tanker. I'm like, come on, Michael, keep your options open. You got to think, No, all I want to do is tanker. I'm like, dude, keep your options open. Look, nope, all I want to do is tanker. As a recruiter, you're going, God, I hope that's open because.
Oh yeah, because stuff fills up.
Yeah, right? Stuff fills up. Sometimes that's not open. There might be something. Maybe he's disqualified because maybe they say, oh, he's colorblind or something. Red, green, colorblind. Right. Can't do it because of that. Well, no, that wasn't it. So he comes out. I'm like, hey, man, I knew he joined. I get the thing that he joined. So I'm like, okay, all right. Hey, so did you get Tinker? He's like, nope. I'm like, really? What'd you get? He's like, well, I do what you said. I kept my options open. So I said, what'd you do? He says, I went in EOD. He says, I get to blow more shit up. So sure enough, he went EOD, and he's now a freaking sergeant first class.
Wow.
And he's still in EOD. I've got him on Facebook. I've talked to him every now and then. and I said, why'd you do it? He said, I did what you said. He said, you said, keep your options open. And he said, I listened to you. And I'm like, good, because you get to go in and you pick your job. And that's the one thing the Army offers that no other branch offers. You get to go in, you choose your job. No other branch can sit there and say that you get to actually go in and choose your job. Now, of course, one, you got to be qualified for it. Two, it's got to be open. But, other ones, I watched a buddy of mine, his daughter waited months and months and months to go into the Air Force. And she ended up not getting the job that she wanted. And it was just more like, take it or leave it. Here you go. You can have this one. But if you don't get it, then, oh, well, bye. But then people, going into the Army, it's like, okay, well, these are the jobs you qualify for. These are the ones that are open right now. Pick which one you want. you can only get what you know.
Yeah.
You can only get what you qualify for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a nice thing. But I think the funniest one is actually one of the guys I put in. I ran into him in Iraq.
Okay. All right, let's pick that story up.
Yep. So he's in my battalion.
You recruited him.
I recruited him.
Okay.
And I leave recruiting. I come here to Fort Hood. I leave here. We go over to Iraq.
Hold on. How long have you been in at this point?
Let's see. That was in 2006. So what? I was let's see.
So 17 years?
Yep, 17
18 years.
Yep, 17.
At that point, when you were recruited, did you think you were going to go to Iraq at that point, or was that kind of out of your brain?
Oh, no. They were trying to get me to stay in recruiting. And I was like, no.
I bet they were.
Yeah, I was like, no. And they're like, oh, I mean, the first sergeant has like, they were like, hey, you're really good at it. 79 Romeo, come on, we can get you to change over. I'm like, nope, come on, come on, you're an artillery mechanic. Come on, you go 79 Romeo. He says, man, you'll be first sergeant like that. I'm like, nope, come on. I'm like, no. I'm like, I came in to the Army to be an artillery mechanic. And I'm like, that's what I want to be. I did this because the Army said they needed me to do it. Now I'd like to go back to my job.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I helped people out. I mean, I did. I mean, it was great. It really was. But it's time for me to go back.
Yeah.
So I go back. I knew I was there. And then people were like, you're going to go to Iraq. I'm like, I don't care. Put me back to my job.
Yeah.
So I get over here. And it was just crazy. It's like all of a sudden,
over here back to Fort Hood.
Yeah, I get to Hood, right?
Yeah.
So I come over here to Hood, and then first thing is they try to put me in like air defense artillery. I'm like, okay, why am I being put in air defense artillery? It's like, that's the farthest thing from me.
What is air defense artillery?
Like literally, like helicopters and stuff. I'm like, why am I?
Okay.
Why am I going to be ADA and all this kind of stuff? I'm like, this is like really far out. For some reason, somehow, they're trying to put me over there to be a retention NCO.
Mm.
So career counselor. So like, wait a minute. Okay, I was a recruiter. Now you're trying to put me in for a retention. Like, okay, now you're trying to make me be the guy who makes people stay in the Army.
Well, you know what? They could see your personality. They knew people liked you and that you weren't a dickhead to people.
Exactly.
And they wanted you. They thought you were useful for them.
Yeah, they're like, okay, first you put people in. Now we're going to keep you to keep people in. And I'm like, oh hell no. One of my buddies that I actually instructed with, he went warrant officer, and I ran into him here. So I get a hold of him. I'm like, Chad. I'm like, dude, you got to do me a solid. I'm like, they got me in air defense artillery. I'm like, they're trying to get me to do retention. I'm like, get me out of here, man. I said, do you know anybody? He's like, I got a buddy of mine. He's like, Shane Steele. He's in artillery. He's the CW2 over here in the artillery unit over here. He's a hard ass. I'm like, I don't care. I say, he can bust my balls all day long. I don't care. I'm like, just get me out of here because they got me going retention NCO. I don't want to do it. He's like, they're going to go to Iraq. He's like, they're leaving right now. He says, that's my brigade. We're leaving. I'm like, cool.
Wow.
I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
And so here I am. I'm walking out of the brigade for air defense artillery. The sergeant major's walking in. Sergeant Parkhurst, I'm glad you're here. Come on in here to my office. I'm like, oh, got new orders, leaving. He's like, no, you're my retention. I gotta go. Bye. I'm like, nope, division's got me going somewhere. I'll see you later. I'm just walking out the door really quick because I'm not getting turned around. I'm like, oh, gotta go to artillery. See you later. Walking out the door as fast as I could because I'm not doing that.
So how soon were you over in Iraq then?
It was 3 weeks later.
Wow.
So I mean, I had enough time that I got here. My family, I just got my family into housing, and our stuff literally just got here. So my stuff was still in boxes. I look at the family like, hey, love you guys. I'm gone.
What did your wife think about that?
Well,
she's used to this at this point.
At this point, it was just like, they knew it. I mean, the wife, the kids, they were just like, that's what dad does. Up, by.
At this point, had you had some kind of like, man, I'd hate for Iraq to come and go and not be a part of it? Or was it not that? Did that not factor into it for you?
I mean, that's the thing. I knew coming here that I'd go. I mean, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, Iraq wasn't going anywhere. So, I mean, did I know it was going to happen right then and there? No. Did I think it was going to happen soon? Yeah.
And that was kind of the era they were kind of ramping stuff up there, correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, no. I mean, it was.
Or was it winding down at that?
Oh, point? No. It was, yeah.
I feel like they were kind of pushing.
It was still
that was
going.
like the insurgency was really kicking in.
It was still going. I mean, it was going.
Yeah.
And I mean, so I knew I was going to go, and I wasn't worried about that. I mean, did I know it was going to be 3 weeks? No, but I mean,
yeah,
it didn't matter. I wanted to go back and do my job.
Okay.
And that was the big thing for me. I just wanted to do my job. I didn't worry about the fact of when I go over there, what's going to happen. What's going to happen is going to happen. It doesn't matter if you're in Iraq. It doesn't matter if you're walking down the street.
Yeah.
If you're going to make it, you're going to make it. If you're not, you're not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. So that's the way I always looked at it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, great, here I am, and I'm gone. So it's like, all right, let's go. I'm like, whoo, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. So, we head off. We do Iraq. And
where do you land over there? Do you land in Iraq? Or are you in like Saudi Arabia or whatever?
No, well, I mean, we first went to like Kuwait.
Yeah.
And then we left there. I'm trying to think, where did we go from there? It's been so long.
Yeah.
We ended up getting there. I don't know.
Were you in Baghdad or where in Iraq were you?
I went to Baghdad. We had places. We had people in different places. We had places. I was in Baghdad. We had people in VDC and we had people in Falcon. So I had people because I ended up being the battalion motor sergeant. So
okay.
I had people in 3 different areas. So I would bounce around in those 3 areas.
What was that like?
Well, that's why I liked being in charge. By that time, that was great because I was like, oh, hey, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to be with these guys for a week, And that was the nice thing. So I'd look at, I had a good relationship with my warrant officer and I'd be like, hey, I got to go check on these guys. And I'd take off and I'd go. And he hated meetings. I hated meetings. And he would get on to me so much. He'd be like, man, he's like, you got to get your work done, get your paperwork done. I'm like, okay, so what you're saying is if I get my paperwork done, then I can go play on the vehicles, right? He'd look at me like, yeah, if you get your paperwork done. All right, bet. I spent a couple hours. I get my stuff done. He's like, where you going? I'm like, I'm going to the bay. I'm going to go get dirty. He's like, huh? I'm like, yeah. I said, that's what coveralls are for, right? To get dirty. I'm like, see ya. I can go out to the bay. He's like, so anytime he'd look for me, he'd be like, okay, where's he at? He's over there on that one. I didn't care. I'd go work for one of my guys, Hey, who needs help? I'd be like, I just walk out there. Hey, who needs a hand? One of my privates like, I could use some help. I'd go out there and help him.
That's cool.
I didn't care. So when we got there, our motor pool, at first I was working in we call it QAQC. And what it was all our vehicles, we wanted to make sure that every week, all the vehicles came in through the maintenance bay. So we made sure that they were all in operate. Yep. Yeah. Because we didn't want our guys to be out there and have anything break down. So every week, every vehicle of ours went through. A mechanic touched it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We checked it and we made sure our vehicles were good. So, our stuff was constantly, we kept it up. I mean,
was it being used a lot at that point?
Oh God, yeah. And that's why it was like, our main thing, we called them gun trucks. Cause I mean, it was the Humvees. And I mean, cause we were doing, vehicle convoys. By that time, Well, I mean, our howitzers, we had one platoon that was shooting. The rest of it, and we actually only had 2 guns shooting. All the rest, they were just, honestly, they were collecting dust. They were just sitting there. We had 2 guns shooting, and then by the time we left, we had another 2 guns in on another fob shooting. But that was it. So the rest, and they didn't move. They just stayed there.
Right.
They just stayed there on the fob, and hey, we need, loom rounds shot. They'd shoot loom rounds.
Right.
So our main thing was the Humvees. They needed to be up. So everybody, it was Humvees.
So you were maintaining the Humvees and the guns in them, or just the guns?
Well,
is that what you mean?
Well, when I say gun trucks, I mean, we just, all it was is, I mean, we had, they had a 60 cal or a 50 or whatever on top. Yeah. I mean, we just called them gun trucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just small arms, and that was it. But, they would just vehicle convoys. We might be taking, some kind of logistics somewhere, or, maybe it was civilians that needed to be escorted or something, vehicle escorts, whatever needed to be done. We took whoever, wherever.
So you'd be involved in all that.
Yeah. And what we did is we sent a mechanic with every convoy. So every platoon had a mechanic in it. So every gun truck, platoon, so every 5 vehicles, one mechanic was with it.
And those guys were your guys?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had 79 guys that worked with me, and so each one, if there was 5 vehicles rolling out from our unit, one of those guys was a mechanic with a toolbox with whatever's needed. He had some quick repair parts with him.
Yeah.
If something happened, he could hook up a vehicle. He could roll it with him if he needed to, take it out of there, try to get it, limit it to the next camp or whatever, things like that. We had our recovery vehicles. If we had to roll it out there, we had to recover a couple,
IEDs, RPGs, was that all happening at this point?
Yeah, we got lucky, honestly. We only had our first convoy out. We did what we call left seat, right seat, right. We get over there, our guys are out there. We're taking over for a unit, our sister unit, and then when we take over, because left seat, we're doing right seat ride. They're showing us everything. Left seat, we take over. They're watching us. Okay, so we get out there, and one of my buddies, he's in charge of the 5. He's the platoon sergeant for the one. He gets out in a convoy, and he ended up getting shot.
In vehicle, or
no? He got out of the vehicle. They had a dismount, and he got shot. And this is literally our first day taking over. And he gets out of the vehicle. He got shot. He makes it. He's fine, but he got shot in the boys.
Oh, geez.
Yep. So he comes back. I mean, he lost one of the boys downstairs. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. I'm looking at him going, you're the only one. I'm like, seriously, it's got to be you. I mean, only you could be that one. You're the man that has to come over here, and literally, you just have to be that guy to get shot, right? You just have to show everybody how to do it. Come out here first day 1. You're like, hey guys, if you're gonna do it, hey, this is how you do it. So he gets sent back. He gets sewed up, stitched up. He's back out there in like 3 weeks or so. So of course, hey Johnny, here comes Johnny. The one ball man. Come on, we call him one ball. Come on, here comes one ball. He's just shaking his head. It's like, we're like, hey, so so you got a prosthetic now? Rubber or plastic? He's just like, so, he's out now too. I'm like, man, did the VA give you a percentage for that? Do you get something for that one? But I mean, so it's just like, man, come on. So, I mean, things happen, but yeah, that was our thing too. So it gets back, That's the one thing. So that vehicle, his vehicle comes back. Of course, I find out, it was him. Everything goes black. If somebody gets hit, that's the one thing for me. It's like, okay, everybody, I get told, anybody who's got any kind of, device that can send anything, we're collecting everything up.
Like phones and stuff.
Yep.
So, no, they don't want to track any signals.
Yep. We're grabbing everything in, so nobody can tell anybody what's going on.
Yeah.
Everything goes black. Nobody can tell anybody nothing. So obviously something goes black, something's happened. I mean, because nobody can no emails, no nothing can go out. Of course, that's when people know, okay, what happened, because nobody hears anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we're in country for literally 2 weeks and we're black already. So it's like, okay, great. But, these vehicles come in, here, of course, here comes his vehicle, blood's everywhere. And it's just like, I take care of it because, I don't want my guys to.
You clean it up.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I got this.
Yeah.
So anything that came in that way, I was like, I got it. Because,
At that point for you to just make it all seem a lot more real from the other stuff you'd done?
And
or not really?
I mean, I had already been through stuff like in Bosnia and Kosovo.
Yeah.
I mean, I had dealt with like a mass grave site, so I had seen more carnage than that right there. It didn't bother me. I had young soldiers that didn't see anything at all. I'd rather, it's that kind of thing that I'm like, and I hate saying it that way. Like, hey, if they don't have to see it, then, let's leave it that way.
Yeah.
Because you don't want somebody to sit there and have to look and go, oh, hey, you got to clean up.
Yeah.
You got to clean up Joe's, blood and guts.
Yeah.
You don't want to have somebody, especially if it's somebody they know.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what, I got it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And anything that he could have anything on, you want to obviously, 100% of anything that it's anything on it, I'm ripping everything out.
Yeah.
And cleaning everything out, putting new stuff in there. And then we take that vehicle and that vehicle leaves. And we get a different vehicle because we don't even want that vehicle associated.
Yeah.
It's
the vibe of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
New vehicle. Of course, we get it all back up into shape or whatever. And the vehicle didn't get hit anyways. It's just the fact that he got in it and sat down, So it's like, okay, hey, but it gets set off because nobody wants that, it's bad juju.
Yeah.
So, that's our biggest thing. It's like, you don't want people seeing it and you don't want people touching it.
When you were traveling around in Iraq, if you were traveling a lot, were you nervous every time you got in there? You just unknown, or? I mean, were you the kind? I've heard driving around, it was like, oh, you'd see suspicious things on the side of the road, or did that affect you that much?
I think what I think is funny is after doing like Bosnia and Kosovo and stuff, I mean, Iraq was kind of funny to me because
really,
because it's like looking back, because it's like. In Iraq, it was like, I'm in a freaking like a tank, even though I'm in a Humvee or whatever. I've got bulletproof this, bulletproof that. I got all this around me and all this protection. Now, granted, an IED can take some of this crap out, but some of the equipment we had stuff set up to try to make it as safe as possible for us. But I look back and I go, what we have now compared to what we had when I was in Bosnia and Kosovo, I'm like going, I was sitting on top of my batteries, on my seat. Wait a minute. I had my floorboard. I had sandbags on my floorboard when I was in Bosnia and Kosovo. I'm like, that was my armor plating or whatever at my feet was sandbags. So it's like, okay, what was my, it's like, Iraq, I got bulletproof glass and I got armored doors. Kosovo, I'm going, oh man, a rock just hit my canvas door. Ow, my knee hurts because a rock just hit me with my door. I mean, I had canvas doors. I took the door off when I was in freaking, in Bosnia, and I'm getting yelled at from my commander going, you need to have your door on for protection. I'm like, sir, when I get a Molotov cocktail thrown at me, I don't want the plastic melting to my leg. I'm better off having it off because I got a fire extinguisher right here. At least I could, at least that's not, melted plastic on me. I got a fire extinguisher. I can put it out real quick. Can I please take the plastic door off?
So just in 15 years, what a huge difference that was, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, people are like, freaking out. And I'm like, you're in a freaking tank, basically, compared to being on a bicycle. I mean,
yeah,
it's a big difference. So to me, it's like, I felt like totally like secure. Like,
What was kind of the scariest thing for you in Iraq? And was there any experience that stands out or no?
Not really. I mean, we were getting mortar attacks, but I mean, that's what I mean. Throughout my whole career, I mean, when I was in Bosnia and Kosovo, we were getting shot at. We were getting mortar attacks. I mean, so getting one there is kind of funny. It's like, boom, and guys are just all of a sudden, here comes a mortar in, and people are running around, and you could tell the ones that have been through stuff and not, because it's like, boom, and then all of a sudden, all these, it's like the privates are, you're laughing because it's like, it's kind of like ants scurrying around, so it's like boom, and you see all the privates and they're running around like scurrying like little ants, and then you got the the older NCOs and the older officers and stuff just like do. We're just kind of like, oh, where are we go? Oh, okay, yeah, let's go over here. All right, guys, get in the bunker. Everybody in the bunker, and you're standing outside. Get in the bunker, private. Get in there. Get it, Sergeant. Get in the bunker. Get it. There's not enough room. Get in the bunker, Sergeant. You didn't know. You're like, I'm not getting in there. Why? Too many people in there. I'm standing right here. And then you're standing there going, I'm not getting in there. You got a lieutenant yelling at you, telling you to get in there. I'm good. Sergeant, you're making everybody get in here. You get in here. Okay, my leg's in there. Are we good?
What's maybe the most surprising thing that happened over there for you? Is there anything that stands out in your mind that you go, wow, that was really weird, or that was really interesting, or that was funny?
Oh, boy. I'd say the kind of weirdest thing, I'll go in a little bit on it. So we got on our camp, and you get curious about things, right? You get bored. Let's start looking around, right?
Yeah.
So I go in, and we're just kind of looking around, and it's like, okay, we found this one area that it's like, this is where the QRF sitting up at. It's just kind of like this just beat up building, just no windows or anything. People are just kind of just hanging out there. And
people being locals.
No, like our guys,
okay.
Just kind of like people just hang out there or
yeah.
whatever. It's just, just the building, people just hanging out, just chilling out, talking. Yeah. And it's like, okay. And we walk over there, and I'm just kind of like, okay, everybody's just talking. My guys are over there. We're just joking and smoking. And I kind of like look over, and I'm like, okay, I see this metal plate there, and I'm curious. I'm like, what's that? Everybody's like, oh, like, let's take the stuff off of that. They're looking at me like, why? Because I'm curious. Take the stuff off of there. Fine, Sergeant. So they move it off and they open it up. I'm like, there's stairs there. They're like, yeah. Let's go find out where it goes. I'm old, man. It's like, come on, let's go, guys. And they're like, Sergeant Parkhurst, are you? Yeah, let's go, man. Come on. We ain't got nothing to do, man. Half the people aren't here yet. So I've only got like about 10, 12 of my guys with me. And I'm bored.
Yeah.
So, not everybody's there anyways. So it's like, come on, guys. It's only us. Nobody else is here. The other unit is still in charge. So, they're here. So I'm just literally just like, I'm bored. Let's go. Come on. So, so the other unit's still in charge, and I'm just, I'm like, I've got nothing to do. I'm just kicking rocks around. So let's go, guys. Let's go see where this goes. So we go down there. We all got flashlights and stuff. It ends up being a bunch of cages down there.
Wow.
This was Saddam's palace. We go down the thing. We keep walking and walking and walking. It feels like forever. We come up. We find another door. We open it up. We come out at the cross sabers.
The what?
The cross sabers.
Yep. Okay.
Saddam's sabers.
Wow.
So we were on our fob. Now we're off our fob.
Wow.
It's like,
wow.
It's like, I don't think we were supposed to find this. So, yeah, it was like, this is not, yeah. So, yeah, that's where curiosity probably was a good thing. I mean, it was eerie down there, but it was like, yeah, okay. So I get back and I'm like,
So how far do you figure that was under there?
It was, I mean, we were probably about maybe a quarter mile.
Wow.
Maybe.
Was most of the corridor cages?
Yeah. I mean, most of it was. I mean, it's kind of hard to say because, I mean, it was dark. But, I mean, and, when you're in just dark, but it was very eerie.
Yeah, that is eerie.
And but that's all it was just a dark passageway. And it was eerie as hell. But and you just had that feeling. But that's what I don't know. That kind of stuff it gets me, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's just like you get that thing and you just got that feeling. And it just kind of gets the back of your, the hairs on the back of your neck to kind of stand up. But it's also like, wow, that's cool. I turn around and I tell the sergeant major, and he's like, and I had a phone. I call him up. I'm like, hey, Sergeant Major. He's like, what's up, Sergeant Parkhurst? I'm like, where are you at? He's like, up here at battalion. He's like, where are you at? Like, I'm at the Cross Sabers. He's like, when'd you leave to go there? Who'd you leave with? What convoy are you in? What vehicle? Who'd you go out with? Some of my guys. What vehicles are you in? On foot? Sergeant Parkhurst, you better start explaining yourself. We walked. How did you walk? I had to be the smart ass. One foot in front of the other. Sergeant Major. He's like, if you don't fucking open your mouth, I'm gonna kick your ass. Okay. We walked underneath. He's like, you need to show me now. I'm like, all right, give me a little bit. I'll be back. We get back. I'm like, just meet me on the far end of the fob, Sergeant Major, and I'll explain it all to you. He's like, I'm like, give me 20 minutes. Meet me at the other end of the fob, and I'll explain everything to you. He's like, all right. 20 minutes. He's standing over there, and then all of a sudden, we just all kind of come out from underneath the ground.
Oh wow!
He's like, hey. He's like, what the? He's kind of. Where in the hell did you just come here, Sergeant Major? You ready? He looks down there. He looks at me. He's like, not really, but okay, let's go. We walk down. We go. We come back up. We get over there. He's like, and I knew he was one of my first sergeants from a long time ago. He's like, only you. He's like, he's like, he's like, curiosity killed the cat. He's like, you're lucky the cat's got 9 lives. He's like, because you're the cat. He's like, only you. He's like, you just cannot just find shit to do, can you? He's like, you can't. I'm like, no, Sergeant Major. He's like, you know me. I can't just sit there and twiddle my thumbs. I get very bored. I'm like, all I get to do is just jingle your keys in front of me. I'll be okay. Because I got to do something. So, shiny object, and you'll keep me occupied. Give me a ball of yarn or something. because otherwise I'm going to go stir crazy. You got to give me something to do. I just was curious. I said, sometimes curiosity doesn't kill a cat. I found it, right? And he's like, yeah, okay. Are we going to tell anybody? He's like, no.
You guys just bury it? And that was it?
He's like, how are we going to take care of it? I'm like, well, I can get the welder out here. We can weld it shut over here inside and outside. And we can really take care of it, bury it shut underneath. He says, sounds good to me.
Wow.
And that's all we did. We just took a whole bunch of rubble, put it in there on the one, opened it up from the outside, put a whole bunch of rubble from the saber side, closed it, welded it on the outside, did what we could on the inside, welded it, went to the other end, put a whole bunch of crap in there, closed it up, welded it all on the outside, put a whole bunch of crap on top of it, just buried it.
Wow.
And just walked away. And he was just like, I know, no. He's like, let's just leave it at that. I'm like, okay. And it was like, they've torn that place down since then. But it was just like, he's like, only you are going to do this. I'm like, I was bored. It's just finding something to do. So, and that's why we were the only maintenance bay in Iraq that had AC. I was like, hey, I went over to the other fob and I was talking to, I went and saw the brigade S1. So I go over there and looking for supplies and stuff. And I look out and I see, hey, is your scrap metal out there. And I like tinkering with stuff. So I'm like, hey, is that just scrap metal out there? And he's like, yeah. So you mind if I go out there and see if there's anything salvageable that, I can use? He's like, have at it. He's like, it's just an eyesore for us. He's like, if there's anything you want, go ahead, take it. I'm like, cool. Thanks a lot, sir. Major Castle. I'm like, thanks a lot, sir. Not a problem. All right. I go out there. I'm looking. I start moving stuff around. And I end up seeing those big hospital AC units that sit up
big
on top.
Ones on the roof. Yeah.
2 of them. I'm like, I don't know if they work or not. They look like they're in pretty good condition. I'm like, I call up my warrant. I'm like, hey, get me 2 PLSs over here at brigade. He's like, why? Just don't ask. Just send me 2 over here right now. I'm like, trust me. You're going to love me. Trust me. Just send it over. He's like, all right. He sends it over. I get it to come over. I bring him back over. It comes in. He's looking, my warrant's looking at me, and we ain't never worked together. This is, we're brand new together. So he's learning me. He's just like, he sees that. He's looking at me. He's like, I'm really getting to like you more and more every day. You know that, right? I'm like, yeah, I thought so. He's like, I'm really getting to like you a lot. He's like, what are we going to do with this? I'm like, well, we got that, the unit down there because we have they have like an AC, like a tent unit, and that has like AC and stuff, and it's got all the all the hoses and stuff. Well, that unit that comes with it doesn't, the military one, it doesn't work, but it's got all the duct units and stuff. So it's like, okay, well, we get the Iraqis to get us power over there. We hook the power up, and it's only on or off. We turn it on, and
did it just fire right up?
Well, one of them, the motor worked. The other one, the Freon, so we salvaged. We make it so we could get one to work, but we end up making it, but it's just on or off. No thermostat, just on, off. Who cares, right? So we got the duct. We put one in here. We put another one in down, and all we did was just knock out the window. We put some plywood up there. Hole here, go down, hole there. And it was blowing so hard. We could open up the 2 doors. And I mean, we're talking from that, like 30 feet across, and you could sit outside over on the bench and you could feel it that far away. And it's blowing out through the door into the open area that has no roof, and you could feel the cold. And it's that cold. So yeah, operators love to come to maintenance to work on their vehicles. Everybody's like, I'll bring my vehicle in. It's the only bay in Iraq that has AC. Next thing you know, brigade wants to come over. How did they have AC?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, here is the brigade commander, the brigade sergeant major, and here comes Major Castle over with the brigade commander. Major Castle, how do they have AC over here? And he's looking, and he looks at me, and he's looking, he's like, Sergeant, how do you? Well, you told me anything that was in the scrap metal. I didn't know that was a. Well, you said it was just there. Anything there I can have, right, sir? Yeah, I didn't know that was there, though. You're not going to take it back, are you? No, I'm not going to do that.
Did they take it back?
Nope.
Wow.
He's just like, he just kind of looked down. And
that's great.
He's just like, well, I guess your maintenance has it and ours doesn't. And he's like, so he just, any other time, he's just like, he's like, anytime I came over there and I'd be like, can I look at your, I'm going with you. So all he'd say, sir, can I look at your, I'm coming with you, Sergeant Parkhurst. Let's go out there and look at what you're taking. Okay, let's go, sir. Yeah, I couldn't get away with anything after that except for, yes, you can take that metal. Sure, take the metal. But anything that, if there was something.
Pretty good win, though.
Yeah, that was. So everybody had to come by, It's like Sergeant Major Sayatola, multinational sergeant major in charge of Iraq comes over to see
the air conditioning,
maintenance bay. Oh, and the go-kart, because we made a go-kart, So it's like, let's go check out maintenance. So he comes over, and it's like, I invite him over. Hey, why don't you come over, Sergeant Major? Come check us out. Come talk to my NCOs. And so I get one of the Iraqi guys, get me some cigars, because he's a big cigar guy. Here you go. Here's a box of cigars. Come over, come hang out with me and my soldiers and stuff. And he's like, okay. He's like, well, I'd like to work with your soldiers, because he's one of those. He's a soldier's and NCO. So he comes over, Sergeant Major Sayatola. He's like, well, what would you tell your soldiers? I'd be like, okay, what's going on? I'd be like, fix it. I give him a freaking pair of coveralls. I'm like, here you go, Sergeant Major.
Mm.
He's like, all right, who am I working with? I get one of my specialists, and I'm like, hey, Sergeant Major's working with you. He's like, I'm like, Ryan, I'm like, come on, Reimer. I'm like, he's a freaking soldier like you. Sergeant Major Sayatola, he wants to work with you. He knows what he's doing. He's worked on Humvees before. What are you doing? He's like, I'm doing brakes. I'm like, all right, here you go. One of you's doing fronts, one of you's doing backs. Here you go.
Huh.
So he went underneath. And that's what he did.
That's cool.
Yeah. So Sergeant Major Sayatola got down there, and he's working with him. They're doing the brakes and everything. And he's just like, hey, I really like this bay, Sergeant Parkhurst. This is nice. I could really come here and work with you every day. He's like, now I know why people like coming here. I was just like, gotta find stuff, So we had, it was a blast. People were just like, why do you? Because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun to do.
Okay, so how long were you in Iraq then?
Year and a half.
Oh wow, year and a half.
Yep. Oh yeah. So yeah. My mom and stepdad came and saw me before I left.
Wow.
Yeah. My stepdad was like, yeah, he's like, you'll be back before Christmas. We're leaving over there in October. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be back. I mean, it's only a couple months. He's like, no, you'll be back before next Christmas. I'm like, no. I'm like, they may say it's a year. We're going to be there a year and a half. It's going to be that. And he's like, no, you'll be back. I'm like, no, I won't. He's like, trust me. I'm like,
was it hard to get them over there?
No, I mean like here.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
They came here to visit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. They came here to visit me before I left.
I see.
So yeah, my big thing on that was like they came, they visited. What I didn't know is my stepdad, he was terminal.
Oh,
yeah.
He had cancer?
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, he ended up, he died, he died in December of 7. And so he was right. I was going to be back before. Yeah. So yeah, I ended up coming back for his funeral, and it was like, okay. So I was like, yeah, you're right. I made it back. He just had to be a smart ass. You know, he was that kind of guy. Like, yeah, see, I told you so. I expected to see, you know, I expected to look in the coffin or something with the little notes going, told you so. You know, smart ass kind of guy he is, you know, that they, yeah, be like, great guy. Thanks, man. But yeah, so, I mean, that was my only thing that kind of sucked, but, you know, did that, got back from there.
Then where'd you go?
Honestly, it's like, got back from there. Cause, I was out doing, while I was in Iraq, I was out doing we were putting up gates in Codicea. There was a bridge in Codicea that our guys were having IEDs that were going off, right. Because when they were going over the bridge, they had stairwells, right? Well, you know, if you're looking down, you can't see anything that was in the well, you know, in the stairwell. So when they're going by, boom, you know, they were getting hit. So my welder and we went out there. He was like, hey, you know, we were putting up gates. So we were making gates to put up, and they were just solid sheets of you know, of metal.
Right.
So we make them at the shop, and then we take them out at night and install them at night.
Yeah.
So him and I are going out there, and we'd put up a couple at night, and then what we did is, you know, the chiefs or whatever, basically of the
town,
of the town down there, they got a key and we had a key, and they would block it up at night.
Yeah.
And then that way, when our convoys went through at night, they didn't have to worry about anything because gates closed, nothing. Yeah. And that's why we used, you know, flat sheets. So that way nothing could, you know, be there because, hey, the sheet's there, you know, and if something did go,
it would bounce back. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we used, you know, we sat there and used, you know, like 1/4-inch steel, and there you go right through.
Yeah.
So then that way, so we're doing that. So he's putting up one, I'm putting up another, and I forget the lieutenant, but I mean, we had this one burly lieutenant. I mean, he's a big country boy, and I'm up there just welding away, and I don't realize it, but I'm getting pop shots at me.
You're not hearing them?
No, because I'm up there just welding away, you know, and I don't hear nothing. I'm so into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm getting pop shots at me, and I got the QR, you know, he's with the QRF, and I don't realize this. You know, I'm just, you know, so I'm sitting there doing this, and I'm going away, and I'm getting shot at, and, you know, I didn't know. So he literally grabs me, and I'm up here, you know, I'm sitting up there. And so the fact that this dude can grab me from like, you know, 8 foot up, he's a big guy. He grabs me and jerks me off of there, and I land on the Humvee. Well, the Humvee's hood has these slings on the hood where it could be lifted from. I land on my back on those.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have my vest and everything on because it was, you know, very hard to try to use that and, you know, weld. So my back landed straight on those. So yeah, I couldn't move. So when I landed on that, I landed straight on my.
Is that the result?
Yeah. So I cracked my back. I mean, I hurt my back in 95.
Yeah.
And I just basically pampered it my whole career.
Yeah.
And because, I mean, old Army, it was, you know, put up or shut up. You know, you just, you know, keep your mouth shut or you're going to get kicked out. Nowadays, it's, you know, hey, let's fix you and keep you in. before, no, you keep your mouth shut or you're going to get kicked out.
Yeah.
So now it's like, keep you in the fight. We put too much into you. Let's keep you. So, I was grateful, to him for, thinking about keeping me safe, obviously. Yeah. But, I just landed on that did me in. I was like,
the second did you know?
As soon as I
toast.
Yeah, as soon as I hit, I was like, okay. I'm like, sir, what did you do? He's like, you were getting shot. I'm like, okay, thanks a lot. I'm like, can you do me another favor? He's like, what's up? I'm like, can you pick me up and put me in the Humvee now? I can't move.
Oh.
So he put me in. I'm like, okay. And I mean, I just was like, okay, medics check me out. I get a couple, I get some shots in my back, steroids, put me in a chair, basically at my chair at the office. And I'm just like, I'm just toast. I'm like, I'm just going to sit here. I just told my guys, I'm just going to sit here. Wheel me in, wheel me out. I'm just going to sit in my chair. I only get up just to go to the bathroom. I sit here for a week basically, and the medics are giving me pain pills. I'm taking muscle relaxers, and I'm getting shots in my back, and I'm like, this is fine. I'm gonna make it work. And so it's funny because it's like everybody's like, Sergeant Parkhurst, he's just sitting in his chair, he's yelling at me, I'm scared, they didn't know I couldn't get up,
Yeah.
So the operators are like, the guy's scary. He's screaming at us. I'm screaming because I'm in pain. Yeah. And I'm just yelling at these guys, and they don't understand the fact that I can't get out of the chair. So when they leave, my guys are wheeling me in. So, and then they wheel me back out, and I'm sitting there just yelling some more. And, I dip. So I'm spitting here and drinking here and looking at these guys. And I'm just like, okay. And they leave, and my guys wheel me back into the office. And I did that for about a week or so. And then I was able to kind of, maneuver a little bit. And the medics, they kind of like, okay, well, here's your, bottle of, pain pills. And, I'm really in good with, some of the medics. And they're like, okay, well, look, this is your bottle of pain pills. This is what it says on it. Here you go. Okay, here's your bottle of pain pills, the ones that you're going to put no more than what this says is in this one. And so this way you don't have to come seeing us here. But this one says you have 10 in here. You can count. Put 10 in. Yeah. So that way you don't have to keep coming and seeing us every 2 days. Just put 10 in this bottle, and we'll give you this one and put that one in your room. So, they just hook. They're like, you're smart enough. We'll be nice. So you don't have to come see us every 2 days because, it's a pain in the ass for you to walk this far. So I just did that. Then I go back, and I get back. I end up getting back surgery.
Where was that done
at? I get it done here in Austin. That happened in 2009.
You were how old at that point?
Let's see. So what? 39.
Okay.
Almost 39.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. So it was like, all right. And I had to get it done, So I get that done. There's like no way that I'm gonna actually no, it's 2008. And there's just no way I'm gonna be able to.
Yeah.
That was it. I try to get back from that, bounce back. It's not happening. They're like, I'm either gonna get medical out or retire.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got enough time, I'll retire. So I put in my retirement paperwork. I get stop lost.
Really?
Yep. I was supposed to get first sergeant kind of thing. My battalion commander was my lieutenant when I was a sergeant. He wanted me to be the first sergeant. And it was Terry Cook, great guy. He was like, you do you, take care of yourself, Sergeant Parkhurst. You do you. He had back surgery. He came out great. He's like, you got to think of yourself first, take care of yourself. You only have one back. You do you.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, sir. I stay back. I do that. I put in my retirement paperwork. Then the one that takes over as first sergeant turns around and says, nope. He puts me in for MEB, Medical Evaluation Board, tries to get me kicked out for medical.
Wow.
Yep. So he tries to get me kicked out for medical, and I say, fine. here's my retirement. They say fit for duty in lieu of retirement. So that means, in other words, he doesn't get 8. I stay at E7 and I retire. So that's put in, I lose my 8. And then it's like, oh, so now he goes, oh, now you're stop lost. So now he stop losses me.
Just out of spite?
Yeah, because he got the job that was mine.
Yeah.
And he was mad at me. So now I get stop lost. He comes back. He turns around, tells me I need to get out right then and there. I say no, because I just had another, surgery. And, I'm on, leave for that. You can't make me get out now. I have to be on leave for it. And then I'm like, okay, when that leaves up, I'll go ahead and do what I need to do to get out. He tries to medical me out again.
Wow.
Yep. I'm like, okay, that's it. I've had enough of this guy. I go to the commander. I say, if you don't get him, I'm going to kill him. I know my commander. My boy was his ring bearer. My commander knows I'm not kidding. I'm like, I walk into my commander's office. I'm like, Jeff, if you don't get your boy, I'm going to kill him. One of my guys calls up my warrant chief. You need to come get Sergeant Parkhurst before he kills the first sergeant. He's going to kill him. I'm just like, you're messing with my family now.
Yeah.
And I told him, I'm just like, you're a piece of shit, and you're only doing this because you were second choice. Yeah, and you're not doing this anymore. And they leave me alone, and I retire out. I get, so I got out with 21 and a half, and I get out. I immediately end up getting like 70% from the VA, and now I'm unemployable, because I can't work.
Yeah.
So the VAs have me as unemployable because of my back. So all I do now is just whatever I, try to keep myself from going crazy,
Yeah.
So that's how I met Jamie, and turned around and did the, work with him, make some canes. We just sit around and made some canes.
Yeah.
Keep us from going insane. And so now since he didn't do that anymore and he can't, I was like, okay, made me a little project and made me a flag out of license plates. So gave myself something to do, So
You really enjoyed your time in the military.
Oh God,
you made the best of it.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I really did. Oh yeah, my thing I was tell you, the guy that I put in that was in my unit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
I run into him in Iraq.
The guy you recruited.
I run into him at the chow hall in Iraq. He's like, Sergeant Parkhurst. I look at him. I'm like, PFC Bailey, how you doing? He's like, you only know me because of my name tag. I'm like, nope. I'm like, Bailey. I'm like, Saline County, Bryant High School, class of 2001. And he's like, oh my God, you do know me. And the guy that's with him says, who's that? He's like, that's my recruiter. He's like, and you don't want to kill him? He's like, no. He's like, why? He's like, didn't he lie to you? He said, no. What do you mean? He's like, my recruiter lied to me. He said, didn't he? He's like, he told me I was going to come here. He said, he told me I'd come to Iraq. He said, they might even come here twice. And I'm like, how many times is this? He's like, you're right. My second time. He's like, I got stop lost. He's like, yeah. He says, I'll be out. He said, I would have been out like in about, 6 months. But yeah, you're right. Second time I'm getting extended. You weren't kidding. So I'm going to end up doing about 4 years. But hey, you did tell me. He says, so you weren't bullshitting, Sergeant Parkhurst. And he looked at his buddy. He's like, not all recruiters lie. I'm like, because you think about it, the guy's talking to you, he's got live ammo. So it's like, it's a good thing you're not a liar, right? Because this guy's standing there and he's got live ammunition. So it does make a good thing that you are honest with people. So it is kind of funny because his guy was like, if it was my recruiter, I'd kill him. So it was nice on that. I felt good about that part. And then, of course, Philip Hill, he called me. And that was kind of funny that I got a phone call in Iraq from one of my guys that I put in, who called me from another fob. And I'm like,
in Iraq?
In Iraq. I'm like,
what did he say?
He was like, hey, how's it going, Sergeant Parkhurst? I'm like, how in the hell? I'm like, Philip Hill. I'm like, Specialist Hill. How in the hell did you find out I was here? He's like, well, he's like, that's what happens when you work for the division. He's like, when you work up in division headquarters, he's like, you kind of end up finding out, personnel and who works and who's in that personnel. And he's like, he's like, sometimes in your position, you can kind of put in people's names and you can find things out. And he's like, I'm like, so you got bored? He said, yep, got bored. And I typed your name in and look at that. You happen to be in the division. I found out where you were at. And I thought I'd just call around until I found you. I'm like, you're bored, aren't you? He said, yep. So I was like, how you doing? He's like, I'm doing great. So I talked to him for a little bit and I was like, okay.
Man, you had a lot of influence on a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was fun. And I tell you, it makes you feel good that, you did something for somebody. I think, and I hate the fact that I don't remember the guy's name. There was one guy, I helped him. He was homeless. And I know why I don't remember. It's just, it was so quick. I got him in, got him to take the ASVAB.
This is the guy you recruited?
Yeah, it was a guy I recruited. Literally, he was homeless. He was living at the shelter, and it didn't matter. He went in. I think he got like cook, and literally, he was in the delayed entry program for like literally, I think it was like 6 days. That's how quick he got in now, and he did not care. He passed the ASVAB. He passed the freaking test. He's like, he was destitute. And he just was like, so, I ended up paying for a couple of days for him to stay in the hotel and out of my pocket. And I just was like, I wanted him to at least get, basically 2 hots and a cot kind of thing. You know what I mean? Get him some food in his belly because, they gave free breakfast and stuff and that kind of thing. And it's like, at least he can get a bed and a shower and stuff like that. Because the Army would flip the bill for him, the night before and stuff like that. And sometimes, you get a little lucky and you can get an extra night, which I got an extra night for him. So, and then I paid for 2 of his nights. And he's like, hey, I will pay you back. I'm like, don't, you know what? Don't worry about it. As long as this helps you, that's, all that I care about. The kid come back, he paid me back.
Wow.
He's like, you helped me out so much. He's like, he's like, no. He's like, I'm not going to not pay you back. He's like, you took money out of your pocket to help me. And I told you I'd pay you back. So he's like, here's your money back.
Life-changing.
Yeah. And that's what, and it felt good. The guy, he did something with his life. He was destitute. He really needed it. It was a change of his life. He said it turned him around. And it wasn't that he wasn't on drugs or anything. He just really down on his luck. Yeah. And you see that. And with the economy and how things are, it is. But, and I knew it was the right thing for him, but I just wanted to make sure with him. I'm like, don't do this if you're not sure, I said, I don't want you to do that either. Don't just join because you have nothing. Make sure you're joining and you're ready for this. Because understand, this is life changing. You can't just, this isn't something you can, use for a little bit, get a couple bucks and then leave. You're making a commitment. He's like, no, I've thought of it before. I just, was trying to, do it another way. And I just can't, it's not working. Things, fell out, things happen with family, that kind of thing. So he's like, I got to go. So I was like, okay. So,
man, that's cool.
Yeah. So, that's, things like that happen and it works.
You said something earlier about The mass grave, was that in Serbia or was that in Kosovo?
That was in Kosovo.
What was that story?
Guys, we were, our QRF, we had a couple of guys that had like shot at us and, at our camp or whatever. We were going after them. And what had happened was we were running and one of my guys hit the ground. I thought he had got shot. He didn't. He tripped and fell. We thought he fell on a rock. He thought he tripped on a rock. So we're all laughing at him. Dummy. You can't walk with your 2 feet. Da 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 da. He had tripped on a human, butt.
It was poking out of the ground.
Yeah.
Wow.
And from that point, kind of one thing led to another, and then figured out it was more than just one, and it ended up being a mass grave site. So, ended up being that kind of thing that the powers that be, because we found it, me and my guys helped disseminate like different groups on putting it down. Like as far as like we just ended up like connexes, putting in like okay, male, male
wow.
adolescent, male, that kind of
How big an area was that?
It was very big. I mean, you've seen like the connexes that like the shipping connexes.
Yeah.
Think of one of those, say for adult male.
Wow.
Filled from front to back.
Wow.
And it was, it got to the point, we were using trash bags and we had to just do cutouts and we put like window AC units to try to, So, we just kept on just stacking.
Stacking. My gosh.
Yeah. So there was a thing of, what do you want to say? Like civilians that were there that were, I guess you would say, I guess they were categorizing or whatever, there was a civilian group that was doing their thing. We were just part of the laborers that helped because we found it. Me and my guys were the ones that were helping with it. They didn't have anybody else because, they were like, okay, you guys found it. We don't want to, I guess, I don't know if it's the fact we don't want other people to know it or we don't want other people to get traumatized from it because you guys are already.
We'll let you guys be traumatized.
Yeah, you guys were the ones that found it. So we'll let you guys get, screwed up in the head from it, not anybody else. But it's like, oh, by the way, hey, it's like, hey, do we get any of this PPE that you're wearing? And it's like, oh, no, you're good. We got like basically, I don't know if cravat, like we had the little first aid kits back in the day that, you open it up and it's, we call them like we call them tampons. Oh, you open it up, got a little tampon in it. Well, they had like kind of like a sling that you could make out of it. All it was is just basically looked like a bandana. A green bandana.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so all we did is, put that over our face. It's like, okay, so we got that.
When they have hazmat suits and stuff.
Yeah. It's like you got air filtration system, mask with covered up, and you're white head to toe, and you got all this stuff on, and we're using Vicks Vapor Rub and Colgate fucking toothpaste under our nose, wearing a cravat, a freaking bandana over our mouth and nose, and you're saying, oh, you're good.
How long did that take? How long were you working on that?
Oh, God. I think it was like 3 weeks.
Oh, my God.
Every day.
That's rough.
Yeah, and it was just like nonstop.
And was that all pretty fresh? Or was it, you don't know?
No.
When I say fresh, was it just within the last few years of that?
Oh, yeah. But it was, it was enough that when parts were coming off easily.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's rough.
And it was like, come on. And it was just bad, though, in the aspect of just different things. I mean, and it was close to the hospital. And the bad thing was, because I had a buddy of mine that he worked at the hospital there. He was actually like a relay point as far as for like our communications. And so at the hospital there was just a whole bunch of kids, orphanage basically.
Oh, wow.
And so there was a couple of nuns there, and it was just a big group of kids that were just orphaned. And
there were their parents.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was just a lot of kids. It didn't matter. You looked at some of them, and you knew what had happened to some of the people too. I mean, obviously, not all clothed and stuff. It just,
wow.
The thought of what happened to some of them is just horrific. On what people could do to another person. It's just, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Well, sorry to dredge that.
Yeah. It's just
a fascinating story.
Yeah. It's something that is like, I don't understand how people could do that.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to just fathom why you could do it. But somebody can, people can. And just have to disassociate yourself. And that's the hardest thing about it, is just to sit there and look and go, okay, and turn the mind off.
Yeah.
Let's get get this done. Okay, everything's done and over with. Now I can turn my mind back on. It's harder to do, but you got to kind of try to do it as best you can.
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those things that you try not to remember all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I think's bad. It's like, that's worse. That's what it gets me. It's like Bosnia and Kosovo, we consider those police action. Just like Vietnam. They called that one. They did the same kind of thing, called it police action and stuff. But it was like there was a lot of stuff back then too that is like,
that one didn't get a ton of airplay in the States, I don't think, news-wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just didn't have the fanfare that... And I don't know that anybody ever... I don't think anyone in the States really even understood the politics of it or any of that. It wasn't as clear as like Iraq or...
Yeah. I don't know. That's just like kind of like... that was just like the Gulf. That one was kind of just kind of like a joke. Because
it was like a pageant or something.
Yeah.
Like a play.
Yeah, because people were looking at that like it's like, oh, we got the Patriot missiles and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you know what? It's like Saddam has, Saddam's Scuds are just like the Patriots. Everybody's like, what do you mean? All he's got to do is when he shoots it, he just has to watch CNN to see where they land. It's like, oh my God.
That was a pretty weird time.
Yeah, it's like, oh, geez, oh, take a little more fuel out, fire. CNN. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I'm like, oh my God. It's like, geez. But yeah, it's like, okay. But yeah, I mean, because like for Saddam and stuff, he was actually his trial. That was at the FOB I was at when
you were there when that happened. Wow.
Yep. He was actually his tribunal was being done on the FOB I was at.
Did you actually see him?
Yep. Was
he just broken man in handcuffs?
Yeah, I sat one day and it was just to see, because one of the guys, one of the E7s in my unit, he had to sit up there at the top and just sit there. And he's just like, I'll watch for a little bit. I was like, okay. Like, I know why he was bored. It's just like, okay, this is like really boring. But yeah, they would just, like, you never knew like what he was in, because it's like we just would have 5 birds would come in, and just one right after another. 4 guys would come out with like, a few guys with hoods on their head, and they would, boom, just take him into the building. Next time it'd be like, Suburban's coming in, same thing.
So the trial was held on your FOB.
Yep, the trial.
Not where he was staying.
No, he wasn't there. Yeah, he wasn't there. But
did they execute him on the FOB?
Not ours, no.
Okay.
No. But yeah, they that was the thing though too. It's like we had it's just like, because he was it was a public hanging for him too.
What do you mean?
He was publicly hung.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when he was tried, he was found guilty and stuff, and he was hung. We had actually, our fob, we had dug a grave for him. Our fob dug one, and there was other places that were.
Oh, so it was kind of like they didn't want to martyr him, so they didn't tell anybody really which one he was buried in.
Exactly. So there was like 5 different places that were dug, and all 5 places had caskets put in the ground and covered. And then later on, we found out his wife got his body, but these 5 places all had caskets put in the ground. It was like, we didn't know. It was just me, my ward, and the guy who was operating the backhoe. And
so you helped dig that?
Yeah.
Wow.
We just did it that
That's
night.
a claim to fame. Dude.
Yeah, it was funny. We were just sitting out there going, we're doing what? Okay. Come on, guy, dig a hole. Okay, you got okay. And we just stood there waiting. Here come the truck. A couple guys got out the truck and just went boom. They were like, cover that. And we just covered it. They're like, leave. Okay, we're leaving.
They didn't mark it or anything.
No, and we left. We're like, okay. And then we were told, don't come back. Okay. And then it was told later on, you can go back there if you ever want. And go back. And it was a hole again. Nothing there.
Wow.
So it was that kind of thing. Oh, yeah. Because they knew people would be, loose, the whole loose lips sink ships. They knew it didn't matter. Somebody's going to say something. But yeah, I mean, it was that kind of thing. Like, who knows? It was done that way on purpose. But yeah, ended up being said that, his wife got it. But it was that kind of thing of, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, here's all these. To try to do that kind of thing if anybody's going to try to, sit there and desecrate his body or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing. Oh, if they're going to try to shoot him, there's a whole bunch of targets to shoot at when his trial was going on because there's like almost 20 people with bags on their head.
Yeah.
Which one is he?
Yeah.
Of course, then I wouldn't want to be one of the
guys in the bag. Yeah. You don't want to be that dude.
No, I'd be like, I don't want to be the one coming out. What if I do get shot? I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want that job. It'd be like, how much do I get paid? Is it worth it? So yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
Well, I can see why you were a fun guy to serve with, though, man.
Yeah, it was
a trip.
It was fun, though. I enjoyed it while I was in. I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world. I really wouldn't, because everything happens for a reason. And you get hurt, you get hurt. Life is life, but you got to enjoy it while you can, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But
man, thanks for sharing, dude.
Not a problem.
Those are awesome stories.
It was fun, brother.
Thanks, brother. Wow, that's good stuff, dude.
All right.